Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Success Starts with a Plan. I do apologize for the delay. It was my fault mainly because I completely forgot that today is Wednesday, and the reason for that is I've just had a really nice weekend with families, a wedding and stuff like that. So I still am not get I have not yet got back into the swing of things, and I still feel like I'm resting as we go along. So I completely lost track of the day. I thought it was a Tuesday for some reason. But yeah, happens. We're here, and today we wanted to talk about a little bit more on obviously the plan that we have in place, which you guys can can start to do and start to implement. But we're going to be talking about specifically how this plan evolves and changes and goes into different directions that makes sense for a long-term vision to have. So if I may start, I'm here with Renee Sullivan, guys. She's going to speak in a bit, but I just wanted to specifically, talk to you guys about this topic in particular because I'm going through a phase right now, or even in my online journey, where I realize that I need a reboot. You need a refresher every now and then of things that you're doing. But not only that, at the same time, when you take those moments of refreshing the knowledge or keep that input, you might have heard many people or mentors or people who you follow online say, listen to somebody who you aspire to become, and listen to them every single day, or listen to some motivation, things that elevate you, that allow you to manifest something in the future. The more you listen to it, the more you also put it into practice without realizing it. It becomes kind of a subconscious action. And a refresher does this for you. It opens your eyes to things that you already know about, but it gives you a clearer vision depending on your life situation, depending on your journey. And those aha moments, as you might call it, would come for you. But remember that they might not come for they might not be very evident for the people who are just starting. In fact, there's a journey that you might have an aha moment now, 3 years later, but it's important to learn how to communicate that moment, that light bulb moment, and how to translate that to a person who's just starting. So in that sense, you're always learning, even if you go ahead and do this journey for a long time, because you have the light bulb moments, then you have to translate it back into something that communicates, that you're allowed, you can tell the story, whether it's a technical thing, whether it is just personal development, whatever the story is at that point of time. The best people who communicate how and actually motivate people to be on a diet or an exercise regime, if you want to say talk about that, or even a musician learning skills, which develop you this way, a chef, you have to be able to communicate in the right manner, but you continuously learn and have those aha moments. So in my opinion, the learning never stops. The learning never stops in the tweaking of your funnel, in the email building, and I can go on about this. Maybe I do want to just give you guys ideas. I'm gonna let Renee talk for a bit, and then I'll come back and grasp certain concepts from that.
Sure. You were mentioning the keeping learning, and especially when someone new comes along. Well, it's really funny because I've actually introduced two new people to the personal development that I've been doing for the past 3 years. But what keeps reviving me on that is these new people, they're discovering their new cognitions and they're discovering new things. So it actually helps me to go back, and I do this on a regular basis anyways, to go back to those beginning lessons that they're learning so that we could talk about it more. And it helps me actually consult with them better, and it helps them to know that I'm still continually going back to the basics, because that's an important thing for new people to remember, is that even though you might be someone ahead of you is a little bit more advanced, we're always still going back to the basics, going back to, and that's our It Starts With a Plan is a perfect example of that, because we're always going back to what's the plan. Okay, what's the simple plan that you're using? But in any skill that you're teaching someone or you're talking to a new person about, it's a good thing for them to know that they could always go back. What's the basic plan? What's the fundamentals that you need to do every single day in your daily routines that you're doing to ensure that you're doing the right things to get success in your business? So I'm so glad you actually talked about that, because I literally had this conversation with two people earlier today about this very topic. So it makes sense to do that and have that, and not just in your own personal development, in whatever skill. Like, so say it's trading, for example. I constantly see people going back to the beginning basic training with that, just to keep their skills afresh and anew, because you don't want to lose those basic things, because you can get into a routine of doing it the wrong way if you don't go back to those basics. So I'm glad you mentioned that, and I just wanted to share that little bit of information on that, because it's true.
Yeah, and but the fact that people say while everyone is zigging, you should zag. The funny thing is, and everyone should realize this, when you go back to the basics, so when you have those light bulb moments and then you have to translate them for a new person, that's something that everyone is not doing. They're focused on the forward, 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 which is you are continuously going forward no matter what, guys. You never stand still, you are moving forward. But if you are able to translate in this way, the effect of you succeeding is the fact that you're zagging, not zigging at the same time. It's
Mhm.
going completely what most marketers will talk about. It doesn't mean you have to invent something new and start completely on a different journey and break down everything that you've created over the last few years. No, it's just what are the main skill sets, what makes you unique with that plan that helps you create the lifestyle you want. And if you hone down on those skills, if you hone down on that concept of it, which is what Renee was talking about as well, you go back to actually zigging or zagging, whichever one way, but basically going in a different way as the majority of the people, because you're taking the time to actually do it and learn it and implement it. And that shows we've consistently said consistency is important. And this is one of the reasons. I personally have been going through a reboot for myself mentally for the last 3 weeks. What do I mean by that? Due to unfortunate or fortunate scenarios, doesn't really matter. I had to change my marketing system, and I said, okay, fine, it makes sense. I'm going to change my marketing system. Let's, redo my funnel. It's been a year since I've done my funnel, so it any which ways needs some, tweaking and maybe getting even better than I have ever done it before. And I feel it has, and it's not yet ready, but it's in the works. Um, and so for this reason, I have switched completely my marketing system. But the person who I chose, because I look for affiliate offers, obviously, because I think that it makes sense. I'm an affiliate marketer. It does make sense to look for other softwares that are known that can help me and serve its purpose. So I found obviously one that I was going to use in any case, and I chose very wisely somebody who I know for the last 4 years, who I've seen grow online to a phenomenal stature, of and so I said, okay, it's time. This is the thing that it's time for me to get, and so I reached out to her. I was talking to her and everything like that, and and finally I got what I needed. And by luck, I would say, or maybe by um, the fact that you take time to do your research, you take time to reach out to the person. There was a bonus which I did not even know that I was going to get, and the bonus was part of somebody who, again, I have been following and I never thought I would even have a slight connection with for years and years, and he's a seven-figure earner and stuff like that. But the training that he has is down to earth and honest, so raw that I literally got addicted to him every single day. And his lessons are an hour, okay? So imagine having an hour of just mindset training every single day before you even know what the affiliate offer is. Just pure training for a week before you even know what the offer is. Now that kind of a plan, and he obviously broke it down and he shared his view on it and how, and I was learning along the way. I was like, wow, this is so refreshing to actually have somebody doing completely different, giving hands down value before anything else, and doing something completely different than 98%. But if you think about it, that's what 98% of the people should be doing, you know,
Yep.
giving that value first, creating a relationship with the person who they're going with. And I was learning along the way, and I did not expect to learn anything, to be honest. I said, okay, let's go through it. It's a bonus, so maybe I can use it to, spice up my marketing system and stuff like that. I said, oh, it's cool, but I in turn started to learn much more than I expected. And putting down those skill sets, seeing what he's doing, modeling things, but just having the open mind, because I have gone into things, and this is what new people do, and I was this way. I have gone into things saying, let's see whether this is just talk. And if you go in that mindset of, am I going to get anything from this? That's the instant gratification mindset, right? That's I want, I want, I want, I want, I want. How long are you going to say that when you allow yourself to learn and absorb? When you start to learn and absorb, then it really gets interesting, because then you open your mind to many more possibilities without changing things. So have I changed my plan from before? No, not at all. But what has changed in the last few weeks is that I've learned new skill. I've got deeper into the skills that I was already learning, and now I can implement them in the same plan that I have. So it helps me in all scenarios of my life, and I've been talking about this on Facebook quite a bit over the last few days and few weeks, because it's been a good refresher to keep learning in this way. And nothing has to change. I'm not changing the products that I'm using. Only the marketing system is changing, but that's because it was a master. I needed to change it, and that's it. Everything doesn't affect the whole plan. We're talking about the product, we're talking about the marketing system, we're talking about the traffic and the support, and that remains the same. How you learn more about traffic, how you learn more about your marketing system, how you hone down these skills and get deeper means you might buy another product, but that's okay. You might work with somebody else, and that's fine, as long as you're able to take, absorb, and then implement. And I hope that is clear. So if you say, should you keep learning or should you not learn? You should open your mind to the possibility of learning. Never, I don't think we ever stop learning throughout our lives. So even with the plan, if you open your possibility that there is something you can edit, something that you can change, something that you can make better, then your plan gets better as your life goes on. And that's a win-win. I don't know about you, Renee, but I think that that's just a total win-win at the end of the day.
It is, and I'm so inspired by everything that you're saying, because what you're saying is absolutely true. The more you're learning and expanding on what you've been learning, it's always a good thing. So if you're not in lifelong learning mode, you're literally dying. So it is definitely a good thing to be consistent in knowing that every single day you should be learning something. And I am very, very inspired by what you've said about the personal development part piece of things, because that is so huge, and a lot of marketers don't talk about that in marketing, because it's kind of like something that's on the back burner, but it's really not. It shouldn't be, because anytime you're going to have success, it is a direct result of what you're putting into it for yourself. What are you learning for yourself? And not just, marketing skills, but what are you learning, number one, about yourself that you can improve upon to make you a better person, whether it be health, whether it be mindset, whether it be, improving relationships, whether it be your marketing skills. It's a direct correlation. Your success is directly related to how much you are building your skill sets in mindset and in marketing and in
Yeah.
whatever it is upon it in your life. So it's so inspiring that you're talking about this, because I've found for my own personal self that since I started 3 years ago, and what I've become now, it's like a 180 as far as what I've learned over the past. And it's good to continue doing that, and it's good to be introducing others to it as well, because the reason why people actually do have success is because someone introduced them to the plan for success. Imagine if I wasn't introduced to, mindset training. Where would I be right now? I'd probably have quit by now if I didn't see the commitment to myself in growing my skills and my mindset. So again, I can't say it enough. I'm very inspired by what you're saying, because it's true. And I totally see the progress in you in the past few weeks, but I've seen it over the past few years. But I've seen that new passion ignited again. Not that you didn't have it before, but I just see it even more expanded now, just in learning these things. So I'm excited for you. I really am.
Yeah, I think taking those small steps and recognizing them is super important. Like you take those, you hear about 90-day challenge, 100-day challenge, whatever amount of challenges that you find. At the end of the day, what is it there to do? It's there to inspire you that it is possible, and and that's what I see. If you think about it, even just building on, I'm gonna give a very practical aspect of this. Whether it's your plan, whether it's your life, I think it's all connected in a huge way. Because just this evening, just an experience, just this evening, I was talking to my wife a little bit about things, and I said, if I think about the vision that I have for myself, at the end of the day, even deciding what to do, or whether I'm okay to live in this country, should I move to another country or something, just reflection on
Yep.
yourself. At the end of the day, it goes to that vision, and that vision is basically a plan. So my life or your life or whoever's life, with whatever aspects, come back to that core plan that you have. So at least this is how I see it. So sometimes, even if I'm, whether it's business wise, or um, whether it's personal development wise, or whether it's just personally myself, I see it end up all in that kind of because it does affect my life. It does affect the vision that I see. Does it impact um, how I see things moving? And whether we say it or admit it or not, all of us have that kind of a vision. It's just different for everybody. Some people do not want to admit it. They don't want to say it. They don't want to write it down. Some people want to shout it out from the rooftops. So it's up to you guys to find the balance about on it, and actually work towards those kind of that kind of holistic vision. But simply put, everything combined, very practically speaking, um, if I look at success starts with a plan, what we've spoken about, okay, even as a new person, and I'm going to break this down from now, say 10 years time, okay. So if you're starting out as a new person and you see it, and say, okay, fine, there's basically, I need to have a product, and I'm creating these pillars of having a business online and having a business in general. You create these pillars, and then after a certain point, you start to get results. You start to get success. You start to get testimonies. These are all results that you can tangibly take and add. and you start to get financial rewards for it. Now, this might happen in 1 year, this might happen in 1 month. I cannot say, okay? But whatever time frame it took you, you start to then get results. From there, you say, how do I develop this plan even further? Those are the questions. Because then you learn more and you develop the plan further. But for example, I had a flash in my mind. I said, oh, cool, I'm building my funnel again. I'm going to do this. And in a year or 2 years, as it expands, I'm going to do this. So I already have in my mind the next step to add to the first step. But if I do it right now, it'll just overwhelm everyone, right? Because I was learning, I absorbed the information. I said, oh, I see the vision of my plan and how I can do it, but I'm not going to do everything now, because if I do everything now, it doesn't make sense. I'm just going to push people away. And that's what many of the marketers or people, new people who are looking, who are searching, who are kind of almost desperate to find a solution, are looking for and are doing, right? They want to do everything. Just focus on that one thing that you learn enough. Okay, for example, this is why in IT they say you need to be up to date with what's happening today, because it's changing so much. But it's not that you can't use what you learned 10 years ago. Of course you can, but you start getting better and better and better, and things are changing, so you're evolving as well. And the same thing goes with, um, for example, Facebook ads or Google AdWords or Bing ads or solo ads or email marketing. All of these things evolve, and you keep learning as you go along. So I am at a loss of breath just thinking about, no, to be honest, just, I feel like, oh my God, there's so much to do. And that can get overwhelming sometimes. So learning, take it in bite-sized chunks, right? Take it in bite-sized chunks. And that's what Renee was saying also with the personal development every single day. Doing it for the last 3 years. Those are bite-sized chunks that you can take every single day in order for you to start to develop it. I admire the guy who, basically I'm working with in an indirect way at the moment, because it's, like I said, 100% value up front, and I don't even you don't even see the selling. The selling just goes by, and if it happens, it happens. But the value that you get is incredible. And if more people did that, and that made me question myself, guys. And I'm saying this very openly. Your plan can be brilliant in terms of financially securing your future. But if you don't have these moments that you start to question yourself, oh, wow, I should be doing that, because you see somebody else. And it's happened to me with Renee, it's happened to me with Rob, I've seen, and I've questioned myself and said, am I doing this right, or am I doing this wrong? And that's not to put anybody down if they are feeling bad, because I know how it feels. But I think it's very humble to do it, because then that opens a possibility for that year to learn something more, that month to learn something more, instead of closing yourself in and not having the space. It's not like you don't want to learn, but sometimes you just don't have the space. Your head is exploding with the information that you get, because the internet is so powerful. So I think it's literally just to, break it down, do this first, do that next, and do that next, and have it in bite-sized chunks. So now, for example, I'm building my funnel. I'm literally doing it in bite-sized chunks. I have not finished it. It's not a big funnel. It's a very tiny funnel, but I'm doing it in bite-sized chunks, so I do it well, and I put my mind and my body and my time and my effort into it, so that it's done well, but in bite-sized chunks. So if it takes me until the end of May or maybe first week of June, I'm fine. I think it'll be better if I take the time to do it this way and not complicate it. So that's just what I feel. Maybe because of everything that I'm going through in the last few weeks, learning, it was a knock on the door. Don't ever stop learning, guys, because if it becomes routine, it can become monotonous, and it can push you away from wanting to learn. And that, if you do, boom, I think you'll just, not, you'll be able to have success for some time, and then suddenly it'll go and you'll be like, how did that happen? Well, keep up.
I agree. A quick thing, because I know we're about to wrap it up, but you mentioned how you had a moment where like you had to look inside yourself. I literally had the same thing happen to me this morning. I had a soul searching moment, where a kind of like a moment of truth moment this morning, and it actually motivated me so much so that like I did 3 videos today, which, and it's typical for me to do a couple a week and stuff like that, but I literally like looked at myself and said, "Whoa, okay, this is a moment of truth. Where am I going and what am I doing here?" And we all have those times where we have to sit back and reflect and have that moment to say, "Okay, which direction am I going?" And it's funny you said that, because I had that today. So it's all true. Even us who've been doing this a while, we have our moments where we have to, like you said, for the past 3 weeks you've been rebooting. I had a rebooting like moment today where I'm like, okay, this is the direction I'm going, and this is what I'm going to do today, to make sure that I'm still consistent in my business. So that's really all I wanted to share, my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, and we all need those moments, to be honest. We all do. I think now and then, sometimes a good shake is definitely needed. So, guys, I guess I want to thank Renee again for being on with me. We will definitely make it next week. I promise you, I am here. I will not disappear. And and if there's any updates during the week, we will let you guys know. I'm gonna try to do this basically on Monday. And I'm saying this on video so that it's a little bit of accountability for myself. On Monday, I am gonna post what the topic is about and have it live basically on as scheduled on YouTube so that you guys can see. And if you want to invite anybody for it, you can definitely call them so that, or let them know via social media, depending on how you do your sharing, so that they can come on and actually listen and participate maybe in chat and stuff like that. So Monday, that's I'm gonna drop the topic and everything, and then we are definitely gonna share it, so you guys will know exactly the time that we're coming on and everything else. But thank you once again, and guys, links are in the description if you want to reach out to Renee, myself, Rob, also Emma. Also, these are the people who we would recommend in case you're looking to start with a plan. As of now, again, no links to any companies, just us. So if you want to reach out to us, links are there. Have a great day, have a great week, and I'll see you with Renee next week.
See you later.